All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
Welcome back to the Loose Wheels Show. My name is Andrew Hazel. Ethan Ignatowski is there, as
As
always.
always, or as usually.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, um. Get it. Let's get into it now, shall we? For the reviews, um, Iowa happened. Two races. Indy next happened. I don't have the race winner in the document, but I do remember it was Miles Rowe. So. Memory is not, I'm not awashed in terms of memory. Uh, yeah. Uh, I'm realizing I forgot to do a few things here. Uh, uh, yeah. Anyway, um,
The show must go on.
the show must go on. Into the reviews.
And now for last week's race reviews.
Iowa race one, Joseph Newgarden was on pole. Colton Herta got spun at the start. Newgarden leads. Rasmussen makes a big save. He was aggressive both races. You'll see later. Jacob Abel crashes. Uh, Newgarden leads after yellow flag stops. Uh, Rasmussen and Eilert make contact. Kirkwood in the wall, right front tire goes. Uh, Newgarden leads after yellow flag stops. Then we have a green flag pit stop where Pato Ward out in front of Joseph Newgarden. The two they had a slow stop with the left front tire changer, and then Pato Ward just he held off Joseph Newgarden. Joseph Newgarden just straight couldn't get around him. Uh, anyway, actually no. At this point, there's a couple other things that happened first. I confused myself with my own writing. Uh, Nolan Siegel spins and crashes, brought out a red flag.
Which almost ruined Pato's chances of winning.
Pato leads again. Callum Eilert went in a wall. Caution. Award leads again. And Pato won. Newgarden second. Power third. 4 out of 10 race. Just not very exciting. Newgarden dominated as per usual. And then as per usual in 2025, something happens to Newgarden, which Bro is having a very bad season, and I feel kind of bad for him. So,
No good, very bad season. All I'm hearing though, Andrew, is that Pato Award is back in victory lane.
yeah,
That
he
doesn't seem like it excites you.
what?
It doesn't seem like that excited you very much.
Nothing really excites me anymore. Really, in terms of driver wins. Like,
Bro is numb to it all.
I'm just like, here's the thing, Ethan. Back when I first started YouTubing around like 2018, 2019 time, uh, I watched this podcast called the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. uh, with 4 people on them. The Iceberg, Eric Estep, Danny B Talks, and Black Flags Matter. Uh, and at some point, I asked them what are their favorite drivers that they like to root for, and most of them being I don't know like they're I think at this point late 20s, early 30s now, or Dale Jr. fans growing up. Uh, Danny and the Iceberg were Dale Jr. fans. I think Black Flags Matter was too. I don't remember. And then Eric was a Matt Kenseth fan, but at this point they all retired, and they're all like, "Yeah, we have guys that we like to see do well, but it's more mainly we just want good racing. At the time, I didn't understand. Like you go in there to watch root for your favorite driver, but now, as kind of an older, wiser human being, it's like, yeah, I hardly get excited for when my guys win. Quite frankly, I really haven't seen my guy. Well, I have, but I think the in terms of NASCAR, my top two guys are Blaney and Elliott. The only race I actually got to see them unspoiled for me, what because some after I watched some races undelayed, was the Clash, and Clash is like, and I haven't seen any of my IndyCar guys win yet that I like to root for. So I like, yeah, at this point, it's just I just root for good racing. It's like, yeah,
Long way of saying you're unk.
Yeah, Pato Award. I do like Pato Award, but eh, g-
Okay, unk.
uh,
I personally wasn't able to watch the race. However, when I saw that on Twitter, I was muy excited. Feliz Navidad to Pato, or whatever they say. If you know what that reference is,
like
you're
Sebastian
a
Vettel.
legend.
Um. Anyway, your Instagram story actually spoiled the race for me because I was not expecting you to post IndyCar on your Instagram story. Welcome to the club, Ethan.
Hey, when my guy wins, I'm gonna post it.
Hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, before we move on, actually, one last thing. Very disappointed that we didn't see a Kit Dixon Pato Award duo appearance on the podium at the end of the race. We were promised something and it wasn't delivered to us.
mhm. Anyway, going into race two, Nolan Siegel, he had his crash. He wasn't cleared to compete the next race. Sarah McLaren's like, we'll try to get Tony Kanaan in, do a start and park. IndyCar's like, nah, I don't know if they said no because Tony Kanaan hadn't had a practice session and they're unwilling to do one, or no, we don't want you to do this because you're going to start and park. That's no good. So regardless, the six car didn't run. Uh, Alex Palou was on pole, and then McLaughlin and Devlin DeFrancesco crash. Uh, Dev spun on his own. That shouldn't be that hard to say. Collect McLaughlin. Um, Side tangent here. Devlin DeFrancesco is not good at driving, with all due respect, compared to his competitors. Like there are three guys that I think at this point have shown to me in the IndyCar series that they aren't good enough to race. One of them being Jacob Abel, a rookie, so I'm going to let that slide a little bit. But Devlin and Stingray Robb, both drivers who have been in the series for now multiple teams, have really not had any runs I would say, oh yeah, this make you think this guy's good. And you obviously know why they're still in the series. They bring money. But how much does the repair bill drag down the money at, at the end of the day?
Fair enough.
I know this is kind of like an apples to oranges situation here. You saw that in the Xfinity series this week, where I'm going to mention Chris Wright being a known bad driver by just about everyone. Uh, Motorsports, he was a pay driver, wrecking a lot, didn't miss the field in Chicago, and they said, okay, we're done with you. There, if you look at their drop off in performance from last year to this year, granted they were on the Richard Childress Racing Campus last year, now they're not, so that's going to move them down a bit in the standings. But they've went from a borderline playoff car to the last one of the last cars on the grid. Hmm. I wonder if getting rid of a decent driver for a driver who's known to be bad might be a part of it. So, I'm saying, the point is, it's like, yeah, they're paying a lot of money, but the question is it worth it? I don't know. That's clearly not up for me to decide. I wish, guys, I think instead I'd like to see Roman Grosjean and Linus Lundqvist on the grid. I've said it before on the show and I'll say it again.
I
Both
agree.
guys have actually shown promise in speed compared to these two guys. Like
Agreed.
I would, I know Linus Lundqvist has been sitting on the sidelines, and Roman Grosjean, he isn't much better. He's in the Lamborghini car for the IMSA championship, and that's only for the endurance rounds. And the Lamborghini's a car that's god awful. Like that's barely better than sitting on the sidelines. Like, yeah. So it's yeah. I do think Roman Grosjean got an unfair shake at IndyCar. He could have just Andretti who did, they canned him for Marcus Ericsson, and I think Andretti's starting to regret that choice because Marcus Ericsson has been terrible in his 2 years at Andretti, and Roman Grosjean showed decent runs at the Juncos car, and now isn't on the grid. Hmm. I wonder if Andretti regrets that decision. But side tangent over, back to the racing. Alex Palou leads. Uh, Will Power has an engine issue. Didn't bring out a caution though. But Stingray Robb, who I just mentioned a few moments ago, crashed. Uh, 10 of Palou first off after yellow stops. Robert Schwartzman had a tail-on penalty. Newgarden got to the lead. Uh, Ericsson in the wall. I also just talked about him. This was a yellow for a right front tire. That's not really his fault. Andretti, they had at this point two cars with that issue this weekend. They're gonna, spoiler alert, they might have a third. Um, uh, uh, at this point, Newgarden was in the pits. He had to pit for fuel, which Newgarden's terrible season takes another turn. Um, Alex Palou holds lead after yellow flag stops as we get going. Uh, 20 spins to 26. I don't think there was a penalty for that, surprisingly enough. Uh, Callum Ilott was out of line on the restart. He had a drive-through penalty, and the race got worse for him as he went in the wall and later. Yellow flag stops. Uh, Palou leads. Kirkwood stays out. Palou and Kirkwood have a good battle on the restart. Palou leads. Newgarden gets lead, shoves the 10 out of the way, and Malukas got up to second. Green flag pit stops. Malukas passes Newgarden on strategy. Herta was in the wall with the right front tire go down. Seven cars had stayed out at this point, and they got to pit under yellow, them being Palou, uh, 66 of Armstrong, Scott Dixon, Robert Schwartzman, Christian Lundgaard, Felix Rosenqvist, and Arenas VK. The podium wound up being Palou, Dixon, Armstrong. I'll give this race. I don't know why I didn't give it a rating on Sunday, so I'm giving it now. I'm gonna call it a 7 out of 10, a solid race indeed. Just Joseph Newgarden, man. He's just he had a maybe above average car in traffic, not but a great car when it led. But he's just had so many breaks just fall out of his control this year. Just a seat belt issue in Long Beach, the fuel pump going at Indianapolis, cautions fall at the wrong time twice, and this race, uh, Louis Foster going into the wall at Gateway and sliding in front of him there. Um, in race one, it wasn't him, but his team still had an unforced error in the pit lane, which at the end of the day, Ethan, if you add these things up, they obviously add up. Long Beach, that's probably, I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's uh, probably 13 points there at a minimum. Indianapolis finished 22nd. He could have won that race possibly. Probably was on track to get like a fifth at worst. So that's another um like 30 there. Call it that. So that's about 43 in those races. Gateway, again, that's he's on track to win that. Didn't. So that's 45. That's we're right now like 88. Road America, that was a self spin. We're not going to count that. Mid Ohio, another crash that you could add up to, but I'm not. Iowa, that's another 10 points. That's 98 points. And then the second Iowa, that's another 30. We're at 128 points. If you add those 128 points to where he is up in up tied fourth with Kyle Kirkwood. Like, dude has caught so many breaks that are just not fortunate to him. That's why he's down 14th instead of tied fourth, give or take. And like like it's just like you feel bad for the guy at this point because like one thing bad happens that's out of his control. That's fine. Pelosi had that this year. Like off the top of my head with his Malukas just punting him in Detroit, among other things. Like, yeah, but just to have so much bad break after bad break. And I think that's leading to a couple of the unforced errors at Road America and Mid Ohio, which the Mid Ohio one you can say was kind of out of control because didn't really expect it, but yeah, it still could have. These are just so unlucky. He's had Ethan 5 finishes 22nd or worse. How many other drivers have done that this season, you might
Probably
ask?
not a lot.
Um, yeah, probably not a lot. Is a good answer. Because uh, scrolling here, uh, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. Stingray Rob has had worse. I think he's had six by my count. Uh, and I believe Ethan. No, Callum Ilott has had more, and then Jacob Abel. Guys, 24th, 26th, and 27th in the standings have had the same amount or more by my just quickly looking. And Joseph Newgarden's 14th. Like I've talked about a little bit on him before, but this is just a, a just just a huge ring of unluckiness. But the good news is for Newgarden is that even if he gets all the breaks, Alex Palou still winning the championship. Let's not lose sight of that. Like best Newgarden could do what if he gets the break? He doesn't have the breaks this second. So I guess it's a quote unquote good year to have the misfortune, I guess. But regardless, um, we're gonna move forward into the NASCAR. SVG, he won the pole. Um, uh, and Connor Zilic won the Xfinity Series race.
One place ahead of SVG.
Uh, I also didn't give this race a number two. I don't know what I was thinking, but regardless, uh, green at the end of the stage, green flag pit stops for most of the field. Christopher Bell spins. Ross Chastain wins stage one. Stage two, SVG leads. Allmendinger spins. Haley and Hamlin off. Chastain spins Suarez. Green flag pit stops. SVG pitted and won stage two. Stage three, uh, four of Gregson gets spun. We don't know because TNT decided to not show the replay. Uh, Busher knocks Blaney off the track. That brought out a caution. But as we get going, uh, Bubba Wallace spun. Hamlin was backwards. We had what I'm going to give the Chicken Award this week to Ty Gibbs for just the way he entered his stop. Because he hit Brad Keselowski's right or front tire changer. So normally you kind of enter at some sort of an angle if the car behind you is pitting, just so you don't hit those. But where Ty Gibbs was like there was no one, like he wasn't expecting Keselowski to stop. So I don't know if that's on crew chief, driver, because crew chief's got to let the driver know that. If the crew chief didn't let the driver know, that is completely on the crew chief. Because if you're expecting a clean entry, like that's what you're supposed to do. It's but someone on the 54 team screwed up. They get the chicken award. Hopefully, it actually registers on the Zoom because Zoom doesn't want to record it. Thank you, Zoom, for not letting me just thinking my chicken is background noise when it's really not. It is foreground noise. I want to hear it. But so after the um that happened, like Gibbs knocked the tire in the front tire's hands, tire carrier's hands. That didn't affect him, fortunately. And then the dude went to the 54 and just got in a shoving match. So some sort of there's an altercation down there. Green flag pit stops happened after that. Hamlin was speeding. Cody Ware, the broadcast was talking about him, how he had his big incident on last week at Chicago, and he lost a wheel. Caution, loose wheel mentioned.
Let's
Um,
go.
so yeah, that is uh, a, a loose wheel mentioned. Gotta hate the loose wheel, but that is the show, so you kind of love it too, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, let's progress through the review here. Uh, Split decision. SVG stayed out. Uh, Zane Smith was on fire on his stop. He was okay. Or actually, it's Michael McDowell. He was on fire. But regardless, 13 stay out led by SVG, Briscoe, and Busher. Uh, Elliott, Gibbs, and McDowell come in. Those are the first three out. Tires. Gregson and Jones spin. The 47 of Stenhouse crashes into the tire, so that brought out a caution. And not a red, I thought it was going to. And then Larson spins after contact from the 12 car. That brought out a caution. Barry spins Hocevar, and SVG wins. 4 out of 10 race. Just SVG domination. SVG's a good road racer. It's just frustrating to see that races just get dominated. Like, this felt like if you would have told me, Andrew, if you would have put SVG in a blank car, you asked me who's driving that car, I would have told you Martin Truex Jr. because Martin Truex Jr. That's how he won races, and he was very good at Sonoma too. He would just go out, dominate, and say, "Man, that was a boring race." Martin Truex Jr. often wins those boring races, and yeah, that's how SVG won this race. Yeah, 3 wins this season on road courses, 3 for 4 on road courses this year. So yeah, didn't have Circuit of the Americas figured out, but we'll see if he can have that figured out next year. Into the news.
And now for the news.
23 and 11 and Front Row seek new injunction as charter expiration looms. Charters are set to expire today, so now they're supposed to be running as open teams. They filed for a new injunction saying that NASCAR is trying to sell the charters. There's no proof on if that's true or not, but if that's true, yeah, that's the harm that they were talking about, the irreparable harm. Um, so yeah, at the end, so that's interesting to see if there's smoke to that, if there's fire to that smoke, or if that's just I don't know what else smoke could be, but regardless, it's interesting to see. Um, Also, I do believe, I think I have something saved on Twitter for this. Give me a second here. Bookmarks. No, no. No, I I don't actually. Um, at the end at the end of the day, it's and just interesting to see. Um, like that, like another part of this is I don't know if we talked about it last week. NASCAR doesn't even know what 2311 and Front Row want in this lawsuit. Like they want something. I don't know what they want, but I'm not a lawyer, you know. So that's just it's just weird. Um, I don't know if you have anything to say about this, Ethan.
No,
Yeah.
we'll just see how it all plays out, I guess.
Mhm. NASCAR doesn't have to. So I'm just reading something from Bob just now. Uh, NASCAR doesn't have to respond until 5 Eastern today. And probably won't get, he says, you probably won't get one until Thursday or Friday. There's no danger of them missing the races, only 37 cars, but would change how much money they get. Something that they can say is irreparable harm is we're losing money. But then again, you kind of expected this. So wrong, right or wrong, um, just that's kind of how it is. Um, just also NASCAR court news real quickly because I thought I saw this and I was right. Legacy, who is suing Rick Ware Racing over the deal to purchase Rick Ware Racing Charter, which charter sale, if if it's going to happen this year or next year, it's just disputed, has now sued TJ Puncher, who plans to buy both Rick Ware Racing charters for torturous interference of contact. Uh, the Putcher, former Spire co-owner, brokered this legacy Rick Ware Racing deal. Charters are messy still, and yeah, interesting new wrinkle to both these lawsuits. Hopefully, these are over by the end of this year. That's what I'd like. That's, I think, reasonable and what I'd like to see. Um, going into the previews
And now for next week's race previews.
now. Just IndyCar. The big show is at Toronto this weekend, so I'll give you my five uh, guys who have won there in the past. Um, Pato, no, not Pato Award. Will Powers won there three times. Scott Dixon has won there four times. Uh, Justin Newgarden won there twice. Herta won once. Lundgaard, Christian Lundgaard has won once. Honorable mention to the 10 of Alex Palou because it's Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood, who's won both of the street circuits race thus far. Actually, I do want to talk about something before we get into more previews, or is that the IndyCar at Iowa race, in terms of the fans, they had a terrible amount of fans there across the 2 days. Uh,
Probably
Bad.
because it's the middle of nowhere, Iowa.
Well, compared to last year, it was sold out. The big difference is Hy-Vee is now not putting a lot of backing into it. There's no more concerts, well, this time to the last time, and so I think the ticket prices were still close to the same. And so, yeah, that made fans not want to go to this oval race. So, Team Penske, or not Team Penske, but Penske, they couldn't promote this race better than a regional grocery store chain for some reason. That makes you wonder. But I think it's likely that we go down to one Iowa race next year. That's what people are saying. That's what I tend to believe based on ratings and attendance.
That's what they should do anyway. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me to have two races at the same track on back-to-back days. Like, yeah, that's too much. Like, what are we doing?
Well, double headers have been in a thing for IndyCar for a long time
Care
now.
if they've been a thing in IndyCar for a long time. It doesn't change my opinion on them. I still think they're kind of dumb.
Mm. Regardless, if here's the thing, is if we're doing it, I, like I like double headers, but unless we can say, unless we're contracted to a certain number of races a year, say no more than X number, and there's no other track that wants to pick up a race, yeah, I don't want double headers. I'd like to go to other places, but if we have to hit a certain number and no one else is wanting to do it, yeah, I think double headers are a great thing to do. Just cut costs, and I think double headers are cool. I think it's interesting seeing how two different races play out. I would have liked to seen one at night, one on day to just have variance. It's a little bit more with the Novel because you can do that at Iowa. I don't know why they didn't, but that's just kind of my opinion. Um, Going into Dover, the five there are Kyle Busch won there three times, Elliott's won there twice, Larson's won there once, Bowman has won there once, Denny Hamlin has won there twice. Honorable mention Brad Keselowski, only open driver, only part-time open driver now is NY Racing's JJ Yeley. Xfinity Series 5 for R now, as I mentioned, is Kaz Grala. Uh, '07 is Nick Lights. The 14 is Garrett Smithley. The 9, those are both SS Greenlight cars. The 9 for Junior Motorsports is Ross Chastain. Um, the Who is next on my list? Uh, 17 for Hendrick Motorsports is Jake Finch, the son, not the sum, of James Finch, who was the owner of Phoenix Racing, a longtime Cup team uh, of good success. Eric Almirola is in the 19 for Joe Gibbs, 24 for Sam Hunt is Ryan Truex, who's won there a few times before. Um, the 32 for Jordan Anderson is Raja Karuth. The 35 and 53 for Joey Gase are going to be Glenn Reen in the 35, David Starr in the 53. Uh, 45 is supposed to be LeVar Scott for Alpha Prime. 70 is Leland Honeyman Jr. for Cope Family Racing, and the 91 for TGM with Jesse Wuji Motorsports is Josh Bilicki. So into the pick points.
And now for next week's race picks.
So I'm not quite sure I updated the totals from last week. Let me check. I did not. I'm going to do that right real quick as I talk. I have 197, took home 1 point last week. Ethan took 7, so that puts him at 212. The guests, they got 5. Actually, I didn't even add your SVG point in, Ethan. So instead you had took 12. So your points are 217. The guests got 5, so they're up to 156. Uh, my dad got the Miles Rowe pick. He gained 5 points. Ethan, your Pato Award pick won race 1 and beat out Joseph Newgarden in race 2. So that's a 6 points for you there. SVG beat out Justin Allgaier in the Xfinity Series race. So Ethan and I got 1 point. SVG won the Cup race as well. So Ethan, you got another 5 points. Now your lead is back up to 20, Ethan.
Dub.
Um, so yeah, this week my dad doing guest picks again. Uh, so I'll just get into it. Indy Toronto, my dad picked Alex Palou because it's the obvious pick. I picked Kyle Kirkwood, good on street tracks. Ethan, want to go into yours?
Yeah, I picked Scott Dixon. Reason was really just, I mean, I don't know, kind of just spoke to me. Vibes. But there is there's more into that, I guess. Like Pillow has been good around this new or new version of Toronto, but I don't believe he's won it. Maybe he has, but I do know that Scott Dixon has won it. Dixon is also in a pretty good groove right now. Won a race a few weeks back. It's hard to say this when Pillow just won the last race, but not every single race is being won by Alex Pillow anymore. So, you know, it's not, the betting favorite is probably still Alex Pillow. I have no idea, but I don't feel like Scott Dixon's a bad pick, and I don't know. Sometimes you gotta go with your gut.
Yeah. Going over to Xfinity Series, you and my dad have the same pick, so I'm not going to spoil that for the viewers. I took Ryan Truex on the last 2 races there. Why not go 3 for 3?
I did see that, and I wanted to put Ryan Truex as well, but I didn't want us to have two of our three picks being exactly the same when it's only three picks this week. So, for the entertainment of whoever actually watches this thing, I decided to pick someone else, and I went with Justin Allgaier because he is the best driver in the Xfinity series. Um, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ethan, but I think Allgaier has won there before.
I don't know. Maybe. He hasn't won the last two, though. That's all I know.
Hmm. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Uh, so into the Cup Series, my dad went with Alex Bowman. I personally went with Denny Hamlin. And Bowman's won there before, so I didn't even realize that he did. But I went with Denny Hamlin. I think both of his wins came in the next gen car. just very well there, I think. So, Ethan, or if you want to go.
I picked Denny Hamlin for the same exact reason. He's very good there, especially in recent years in this new, it's not even the new era of NASCAR anymore, but in this current era of NASCAR. It's a little funny that it's always going to be called the next gen car because it's no longer next gen, it's just gen. But like you said, he does good in the next gen cars here or there. Um, it's that simple.
Yeah. Uh, just gonna update everyone on points gaps here because now I've got it all filled in. Um, Ethan leads me by 20. The Cats down to 61 points back, the worst they've been all year. So yeah, good job to you, Ethan. Like ever like pretty much since week 6, the gap's fluctuated. Actually, gonna go back to week 4. The gap has been between -7 and -27, kind of fluctuated in between those two numbers. Just kind of we've been net neutral pretty much over that time. You gained some on me, I gained some on you. Those first few weeks, first 6 weeks is where Ethan, you kicked my butt, gained 27 on me. Yeah, I haven't been able to reach past that -7 number back. So yeah, you've been doing a good job. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Feels weird not having any F1 news. I just wanted to say that, put that in the air.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing of relevance to even mention in passing is Ferrari tested a new rear suspension yesterday during a filming day, and the I don't know what his official role is, but Mercedes CEO or someone real high up at Mercedes has given the F1 team permission to officially go after Max Verstappen, reportedly. And the biggest hurdle in that is just trying to find a way to get him out of his Red Bull contract if Max even wants to leave in the first place.
Which who knows if that even wants to happen.
Yep, so no actual F1 news, no race next week. You know, we're in a little 2 week break right now, so
This is the summer break that they call.
this isn't the summer break.
Oh, I don't know ball, I guess. Um, uh, so that
Summer break will be after the next 2 races, I believe.
yeah, after 3 races. Actually,
Next,
no, 2. I
yeah.
um crazy thing is that when F1 comes back after the summer break is going to be the last IndyCar race. So, yeah. Regardless of that, next week, I do want to mention this. Next week is going to be the weekend where the most pick races are going to be picked in the pick points. So that's a huge opportunity for me and the guests to just say, kind of cut into that lead. Uh, but it's just the same opportunity for you, Ethan, to say, yeah, I'm going to expand this lead. Thank you very much. So yeah,
Real.
thank you for listening. This has been a really short episode. I
That's
might
what
be,
happens when there's nothing to talk about.
yeah, might be the no, I don't think it's the shortest episode of all time, but maybe
No, definitely not of all time, but in a long time.
shortest episode of the year, I can guarantee. So yeah, goodbye, people of the world.
See ya.
To me, it looked like he actually lost the wheel.
The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect.
Wheel on the track.
Did you leave the wheel loose?
You picked the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.